The French resistance had been born when the Vichy regime had been put in place after Hitler stormed into France in 1940, and it steadily grew and became more organised as the German occupation progressed. Governing France during the occupation between 1940 and 44 and presided over by Marshal Philippe Pétain, the Vichy regime was controlled by Hitler's Nazi henchmen. For the French, this just added insult to injury, and a resistance movement quickly grew. Even so, it was extremely difficult for the resistance to mobilise, as there were strict curfews in place, with censorship and propaganda also used by the Vichy government to keep control of the enraged French citizens. Also, anyone even suspected of being a part of the resistance was treated with vicious brutality. And in 1943, the Milice was set up, which was the Vichy government's equivalent of the Nazi Gestapo. The Milice were responsible for killing thousands of their fellow Frenchmen during Hitler's reign of terror. There were collective punishments and bloody massacres, and even as late as June 1944, with liberation in sight, the killings continued. At one village, where the presence of the resistance was suspected, a German SS division murdered all 642 inhabitants, from babies to those in their 90s. The men were rounded up and mowed down with machine guns, while the women and children were burnt to death in the village church. But by the time June 6th dawned, the French resistance could boast an army of about 100,000, and they were ready, willing, and more than able to prepare the way and assist the Allies in Operation Overlord. The military intelligence they could provide was invaluable, and when it came to performing acts of sabotage on German power, transport, and communication links, they were extremely efficient. Not surprisingly, the resistance wanted Paris liberated as soon as possible,
and an uprising began on the 19th of August.
Even though Eisenhower, as the Allied commander, thought it too early to move into the city, he was given an ultimatum that forced him to change his tactics. Charles de Gaulle, leading the Free French with the 2nd Armoured Division, threatened to send his army in, single-handed if needs be, to assist. And when the Russians failed to intervene in the Warsaw Uprising, Eisenhower agreed that the Allies would support him. The Free French fought fiercely in their battle for Paris. By August 16th, the police, the workers on the Paris Metro, and the postal service had all gone on strike. By the 20th, the uprising was in full swing, with barricades and trenches appearing everywhere. Men, women, and children were helping to carry materials on wooden carts for the resistance. The spirit of patriotism was growing.